What is up? What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing? Yeah, check it out, man. Don't forget, we actually go live on this channel. We go live every Sunday, 6 o'clock, every Wednesday, 6 o'clock. You can come and ask your questions and all that good stuff. The future of YouTube, according to YouTube CEO, I'm itching to see what the future of YouTube is about. Once you become a YouTuber and everything, because I got 4 YouTube channels. One of them got over 100,000 subscribers. I have a team of people that will help teach you how to get started on YouTube the right way, what to look for, and the whole 9 yards. So we're going to talk about this video right after this intro. Let's check it out.
Growth's got a formula most never learn. You don't need luck or talent, structure is earned. If you're ready to build and you know it's your turn, start with the 4 free videos, earn as you learn. Click on the more below to sign up.
That's right, y'all. That's right. Sign up for our 4 free videos, man, and set up a Zoom call if you're serious and you really want to learn and understand a lot of the trials and tribulations that Uncle Mike went through. And I had to figure it out. Man. And I finally broke the formula. And now we got over 507,000 subscribers. We should get a different plaque for that. It should be another plaque for that. That's what I'm going to write and tell YouTube about. Y'all hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. Let's check it out, man. Here we go. Check it.
When I want to know what's going on with YouTube, like what are they really focused on? Where are they putting the priorities? There's really one dude that I want to hear from, and that's Neil Mohan. And if you don't know who Neil Mohan is, he's the CEO of YouTube. Now, I would love to say, hey, Neil, thanks for being a guest. But quite honestly, I don't know how to get in touch with Neil. I know he knows I have a channel because when I got my 100,000 silver play button, there was a nice letter from Neil. So at least he sent me that. But Neil Mohan is constantly talking about what YouTube is focused on and what they're working on. And I always find that fascinating because there's a lot of folks on YouTube, and there's no reason to name names in some of these folks I don't even know that, become experts on YouTube. And a lot of times I don't think they even know what they're talking about, but I'm thinking Neil does. So Neil was recently talking about basically the 4 big priorities for YouTube this year, 2026. And within there was a lot of different things. And there were a couple of things he mentioned in there that really, really I thought were interesting enough. I wanted to share this with you and kind of give you, my perspective based on my experience and things like that. Now, he talked about, AI and how YouTube is going to be trying to crack down on AI, especially people using AI to clone and things like that. And other things they're doing, but at the same time, the tools they're doing for AI. He also talked about kids and teens, how they're really trying better to protect kids and teens. Now, so here's a side parenting note. I think ultimately, parents need to be parents, and I realize kids can be kids, but while I do applaud YouTube and some of these social media platforms for putting guardrails and things in place to protect our kids as they should. So ultimately, I think our role as a parent. Now, okay, I'm done with that. And by the way, I have 3 kids, so I can speak on my experience. But the things that really struck me was when he was talking about the creator economy and creators as studios. And this really caught my attention. So I wanted to share that. So first, he says that he believes that creators are the new stars and new studios. Now, he goes on to mention a lot of bigger creators and things like that. And I can hear somebody saying now, yes, YouTube favors bigger channels and stuff like that. And to that, I say crap, because if that's the case, none of us would ever have a chance on it. And
that's true.
YouTube doesn't care about the size of your channel. What they care about is the viewer satisfaction. If there's nothing else that you take away in this, even though YouTube is the best platform for creators out there to create on and earn from and just have fun, they are a viewer-first platform. Why would you say that, Kevin? Well, because YouTube is a business, which I think some people, based on the comments I get, forget. They're a business. They're in business to make money. They put ads on videos to make money. Same thing like if you're watching television shows and there's ads in there. Unless you're Pluto, which is, what is their slogan? Watch forever, stream forever, pay never, or something like that. They're still making money because there's ads in there. But they're a business. So I get it. But at the same time, it's in their best interest for videos to do well. Now, they're not out there promoting our videos. We need to be creating things that hopefully people are interested in, they might want to watch. But beyond that, but he made this comment that I thought was really cool. He said, the error of dismissing this content, he was just talking about just content in general, as simply UGC, and UGC stands for user-generated content. But the error of dismissing the content as simply UGC is long over. These are shows built by creators who greenlit themselves. Now, coming from a TV background, that really spoke to me when he was talking about greenlighting. So when I worked in television, a lot of times we would be pitched shows that would be in syndication, which would mean a company, let's just say CBS Paramount, would produce a talk show. I'll use an example here in a second. They would produce a talk show, and then they would take it around to different TV stations or station groups. Sometimes there was a group that owned a bunch of TV stations. Kind of get into the weeds, but I just kind of want to explain how it worked. And they would pitch you the show. And sometimes the show was picked up and given a green light, meaning it would go into production based on the number of stations that would commit to it, because in that way they knew that either stations paid something for it or they had advertising in there. So for example, my wife and I are huge Survivor fans, have watched Survivor every season since season 1. So I really like Jeff Probst. And years ago, they developed a talk show for Jeff Probst. And I thought, oh, this is so cool. And so the rep came in and they had shot a pilot. They had brought some people in and it wasn't good. It just was not good. And it could be a lot of different reasons. I don't think the show ever got made. It didn't get green lit. But what Neil is saying here is that the creators on YouTube, regardless of the size you are, you get to decide what you do and don't do. I made the decision to do this video after seeing this article because I wanted to share it with you, and I kind of got excited about it. I didn't have to run it by a committee. I didn't have to do a cost analysis on it. Maybe I should have. I didn't have to test a bunch of things. I didn't have to show it to a bunch of people and say, well, what do you think here? I went with it. Same thing would be with shows and anything like that, which one of the things that that Neil rattles off in here, and he said them in this order. Now, I'm going to, maybe the order doesn't matter that much, but he said, well, like YouTube provides these options like long form, shorts, music videos. I have a prediction. Live streams, podcasts, and my favorite category, etc. Now, again, maybe the order didn't mean anything. But there's a lot of people out there that's like, long form video is dead. And they show you all these stats and stuff like that. And I say to that, bunk. But
he say bunk. Long form video is king. What you got to do is you have to market and promote your YouTube channel to long-term watchers. You got to, man. You got to. That's the winning formula. If you focus and concentrate and get that algorithm and start liking your short-term content, you will be losing Trust me, you would never win that way. Trust me when I tell you that. Please trust that. Here we go.
As much as I curse. Bunk. Because it's not dead. It is a form of video. And if it is, then some of my longer form video, well, dang, it's doing very well. In fact, I just finished a podcast this morning. Now, I started listening to it, but it's also a video version. That was over 2 hours. Now, it took me a few days. But that's me. Long form is not dead at all. And it's a way to create. So you could also see this as, shorts. Now, I don't like shorts. I don't like creating shorts. I don't like watching shorts. I've actually taken all the shorts off my channel. I do wear shorts in the summer, cargo shorts, but that's a different video. But that's something there. And I will acknowledge that shorts are doing very, very well. But so is long form. Music videos. Now this is kind of interesting, but YouTube is a place to go watch music videos. If you're an artist of any size, maybe I have a lot of friends that are independent artists. And honestly, I think a lot of their music is better than a lot of the stuff that gets played out there. But, it's a great place for music videos and music. And you can even it's called Creator Music. If you go to YouTube Studio, I always reference the desktop. That's where I do everything. But if you go there and it's on the left-hand side, you'll see music or Creator Music. I forgot exactly what it said. And you can actually, if you want to, license music to use in your videos that have been done by popular artists. Now, there's kind of some confusion on maybe how long you can use it. It can only be on YouTube. And I think the artist can get a cut of that if your videos are monetized. But anyway, it's on there. By the way, here's my prediction. So YouTube has acquired the rights for the Oscars. Now, part of this is because of how big YouTube has gotten on television. I mean, that's why they went after NFL. They're going after the Oscars. I have a prediction that sooner than later, how's that for being specific, that YouTube will get the rights to the Grammys. Personally, I don't watch any award shows. I just find them boring, and I like what I like. I don't care. Plus, Saving Private Ryan should have won Best Picture over Shakespeare in Love. Sorry, Spielberg, you got robbed.
Oh, my God.
But I think sooner than later,
okay,
YouTube will get the rights to the Grammys. That's my take. But he goes on to mention live streams. Live streams as a way to do it. In fact, if you haven't started yet, try live streaming. And by the way, I wrote a book called Live Streaming Made Easy because I wanted to make it easy. I'll put a link to the book down below. Podcast. YouTube is the #1 platform for podcasts. Now, I think part of that is helped because they have YouTube Music app, which is just kind of okay, in my opinion. But podcasts are on there. Podcasts are very, very prevalent on YouTube. And if you're wondering about how to start a podcast, I did a whole video about that. I'll put a link to that in the description. You can watch that about how easy it is to set it up. This video is going to be labeled a podcast. I usually make most of my videos now as podcasts. Now, I will also take the audio version of this and run it on Spotify because I have a podcast there. It doesn't do much, but anyway, I do. But if you think about that, long form, shorts, music videos, live stream, podcasts, are just some of them. So if you're brand new and you're like, well, which one should I focus on, Kevin? Yes, try them all. Even though I'm not a fan of shorts, you may find that you love shorts. So try it all. Now, I thought this was very interesting too, that YouTube remains the #1 streaming platform, and it has been now for 3 years in a row. In fact, according to this graph, and this is coming from Nielsen. If you're not familiar with Nielsen, Nielsen is basically the way that TV, I think even radio too, but TV measures their success in terms of ratings. So YouTube is #1. So if you look at the pie chart, and if you're listening to this, you might want to watch the video on YouTube because I'm showing a pie chart. I didn't create this. Streaming is almost 50% over broadcast, cable, and other. You would have to add up broadcast and cable and whatever heck other is to beat streaming. And look at the #1, YouTube, beating out Netflix. Not a lot, but it does. And then you see Disney, Prime Video, Roku channel, which is free stuff, Paramount, Tubi, Peacock, and then Warner Brothers Discovery. And you can see the numbers go way, way, way down. In fact, if you get past Netflix, you're going to have to add up 2 or 3 of these to even equal or get more than YouTube. That's a big stinking deal. So again, that's why I am so all in on YouTube. Is it perfect? Heck no. Does it have some issues? Heck yeah. But there's no platform out there. If you really want to do video, like I do, there is no platform out there, and especially now with television. He also said this: when creators hold the keys to their own production and distribution, the only limit is their imagination. I love that. I am a solo creator. I'm a team of one. My meetings are very quick. I argue with myself. I talk to myself. Please don't diagnose me, but I do. And I am limited by my imagination. Now, as a faith-based guy, I also believe I'm led to create and do things. That's why I kind of coined created to create. But, you know, if you go back to the television analogy, that talk show that we got pitched, I mean, Jeff Probst maybe he was a producer in it. A lot of stars will be named as producers. You ever watch Shark Tank? Every one of the sharks are listed as producers. It's usually what happens. And a lot of actors, after a while, they may get that. So they own a piece of it. But he had no control over the production and distribution if enough stations didn't pick it up, which they obviously didn't. So YouTube gives you the option of being your own studio. Now you may say, well, Kevin, how can I be a studio if it's just me? Well, you know, this office space of mine is a former bedroom. What's square foot? Or the size is 11 by 13. Some of you beautiful people have done the square footage, and I don't remember what it is, 200 and something. Former bedroom. It is now where I shoot, edit, do coaching calls, watch videos, write, and everything like that. Yeah, I have a laptop. I take it places, but this is usually where I do everything. This is my studio. I call it my studio. I have a whole playlist called YouTube Home Studio Ideas or something like that, and it's changed over time. I had a friend once who owned a studio, and it was him. He owned it. It was some rented space on the second floor of this 2-floor building. He didn't own the whole floor. It was just part of it. But he had a cool little studio. We shot several things there. Then he had an office space, and he had a guy working for him. And that was it. And then he'd bring in freelancers. But he had a studio. I always thought that was cool. But you can be your own production company, your own distribution. I choose where this video goes. I choose to put it on YouTube. I choose to share it on Spotify, which will also share it to Apple. Those are my keys. All right, second thing he talked about that really got me jazzed was the creator economy. And I don't know if you're familiar with this term, but I've heard some people kind of like, I don't like the term, but it's basically, you know, creators in the economy that we make money. And I don't know why some people get all jazzed because creators actually make money. This is how I make money. I don't have a plumber come to my house and then complain because he's going to charge me. I don't charge you to watch this. It's free. And granted, there may be ads in there that I don't put in there, but that's why I have YouTube Premium. But the creator economy is a thing. And he had this to say, that in the past 4 years alone, we, YouTube, have paid over $100 billion to creators, artists, and media companies. I'll interject this, and I'll fight you on it. There is absolutely, positively no better platform for creators to earn on than YouTube.
Yeah,
period.
right about that.
Yes, I know TikTok's got something from what I understand. I think Facebook has something. I think Instagram has something. I don't know about LinkedIn. And supposedly, Elon Musk with X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, is going to come out with something he says is going to rival YouTube. And even Mr. Beast, who I usually hardly ever quote, said, yeah, well, good luck with that. But there is no better place to create and learn from and make money from. But if you, sorry, that's the wrong one. I didn't want to share that one yet. But In the past 4 years, we've paid over $100 billion to creators, artists, and media companies. That is a lot of money. And yes, I'm sure they made their fair share as well. And YouTube has supported more than 490,000 full-time jobs as creators built businesses and hired employees within their communities. Again, I'm a company of one. I don't have any desire to build a big business or a company. But there's nothing wrong with that. My friend Sean Cannell, Think Media, when he started that, it was just Sean. And I've heard Sean talking about before about, if he ever wanted to sell it, since he's not a personal brand, he's thought about that. I don't know. This isn't breaking news. I'm not saying he's selling it, but by having that there, but he has a team. He has a lot of folks there, but he's been at it for a year. YouTube has allowed him to make that into a full-time business, which is really cool. And then Neil went on to talk about how YouTube continues to invest into ways creators can earn on YouTube. I don't know that the other platforms do that. I think there's some things out there. I forgot what it was, but about a year or so ago, Facebook took something back. I don't know why. Doesn't matter. I don't do anything on Facebook. But they're looking at more ways to enhance even ways to make money. And I did a video once about all the ways I've made money on and off YouTube. If you want to watch that, there's a link below. But basically, they're going to be looking more at shopping and more at brand deals. And I want to talk about brand deals in a minute because this is one of the most exciting parts to me. And fan funding. Fan funding can be anything from when somebody gives you a super thanks, or they're doing other things that seem kind of stupid and gamify. But specifically with shopping, they're looking for ways that you can buy as a viewer without leaving the YouTube app. Maybe without going to Amazon. Now, I'm already part of the YouTube shopping program. I forgot what there's some requirements and when I met them. So for example, I can tag products, and then they've also introduced auto tagging. So if I'm talking about, this Yeti tumbler thing, which by the way, I need a sip of water, then they will automatically tag it. But I think this is in response to Amazon because I can put I will link down here my desk setup that I use to make this video. Those links will be Amazon links because I'm an Amazon affiliate and influencer. I hate the title, but that's what it is. I have an Amazon shop store, and it's all affiliate links, which means if you click on it, and there's a disclaimer that is in the bottom of the description. If you go to the description, go all the way to the bottom. So if you want on my website, it tells you that a lot of the links are affiliate links. If you click on a link, I may make a small commission based on something you buy, but never at a cost to you. So there's the disclaimer. I don't have any knowledge that YouTube is going to take the links off, but I do think they're going after more of the pie than Amazon, because Amazon is the biggest shopping platform out there. It just is. So why would YouTube want to just give that over? So he also says this. We're also giving creators new tools to make these partnerships successful, like the ability to add a link to a brand site in Shorts or swap out a branded segment once a deal concludes, transforming back catalogs into reoccurring revenue. I want to take those separately. So for a long time, you could have links in Shorts, and at some point, YouTube killed those. You can put them there, but they will never link. And that's when YouTube introduced relatable video, or there's something like that. So stupid. And so the idea was you could link to a video that you've got on your channel or anywhere on YouTube that had something to do with it. Whatever. Well, the problem with that is there were a lot of creators that had deals with sponsors where the link was down in the Shorts, and they're dead. They're just, the links are dead. And that hurt a lot of people. So now what they're saying is, let me go back to here, is that the ability to add a link to a brand site in Shorts. So, from what I understand, if you are working with a brand and they're included in your short, you'll be able to link to that brand, which could be an affiliate link. That's huge. Now, I'm curious about something. So I don't do shorts anymore. But I have heard of creators, I've heard Colin Samir talk about this, where a lot of creators are doing sponsored shorts. Because if you think about it, I don't know if you've ever done any sponsored deals or not, but if you think about it, a lot of advertisers are looking for a 60 to 90 second integration.
Mm-hmm.
So you may interrupt and say, hey, by the way, this video is sponsored by whatever, and they do this and this and this. Well, a lot of creators are saying, well, I tell you what, I'll just do the short as a whole sponsored short, and I can talk about whatever it is, whatever app you have or whatever product or whatever. And I'm not gonna lie, I've thought about that. I'd just be curious what your take on that would be. Yeah, if I did it, it would only be as something I could sell. That basically when a brand, I have a lot of brands come to me, some are legit, most are not. It's like, okay, if you're interested, I'll produce this and this is how much it'll cost and whatever. But then it's a different play. I'm not doing it to, quote, grow my channel. But I want to go back, though, to the second part of this. This is one that got me jazzed, where he's talking about swap out. So it's right in the middle. Swap out branded segment once a deal concludes, transforming back catalogs into recurring revenue streams. Okay, here's what he's talking about. So I don't know if you ever listen to podcasts, but occasionally you'll hear ads in there. And they're not ads that the host is reading. They're usually part of an ad network. Same thing when you're watching a show. And if you're watching a show, it doesn't matter on a local TV station or a network or whatever, there's ads in there. Well, if you watch that show again, there may be different ads in there. Streaming does this all the time. Mm-hmm. Those ads, quote, aren't burned in. Most of my sponsorships in the past have been burned in. So whatever brand I worked with, that ad in there, unless I went to the YouTube studio and clipped it out, which is a pain in the butt, which means I have to produce it with that in mind, or I have to take the video down at some point, then that video's that advertiser's in there forever. Now, maybe there's an affiliate link to it and that's fine, but what if the advertiser goes out of business? What if they change their terms? What if they have a really bad experience with the public and all of a sudden you're like, dang, I don't want to be associated with them anymore? What this is going to be about is it will allow you, and I don't know what the qualifications are of being in the program. I will be in it because I'm in the partner program, but I don't know what it is yet because they haven't rolled it out as of the recording of this. But it will allow you to add commercials, add spots, if you will, to your videos. You can determine when they come up. You can determine how long they are. So just imagine the power of that. You could go out and maybe have a sponsor reach out to you, or you reach out to a sponsor, and then you say, hey, I tell you what, let's do a 3-video deal. Let's do a 6-video deal. And here's how much I'm going to charge. And I'll put a video, I'll put an ad. You can't put their ad. I'll do an ad for you that runs in 6 of those videos over 6 months. And this is how much I'm going to charge you. But after 6 months, you can renew those, or I'm just going to sell that again. Here's why that's amazing. One, most videos take off over time. So if the video continues to grow and grow and grow, you could potentially ask more money for those ad slots. Or you may decide that you don't want to sponsor that anymore. Mm-hmm. It's also good for the brands because then that way they can change out the creative. So let's say you're working with a brand that is constantly evolving and doing things, or they're having sales or something like that. Well, you could change the creative out. See how amazing this gets? But what if, Kevin, I don't sell anything? Well, what if you have your own stuff? You could use it to promote a membership. What if the membership goes away? Take it out. You could use it to promote an online course. You could use it to promote your newsletter. Remember what Neil said earlier about your imagination is the only limit. I think this probably is the biggest thing. Now, when is it going to roll out? I don't know. YouTube is sometimes, sometimes they just don't roll everything out. I think this one is coming, but I thought those were amazing. What do you think? What do you think? Any of these like really do anything for you? And you're like, no, I don't care. So I wanted to share that with you. And by the way, there's another video I did because this is the second time I've done this video. The first one was a total bust, but I'll let you watch that video and see what happened. It just shows you that, sometimes best laid plans just aren't. Anyway, hope you got something out of this. Thank you so much for watching. What do you say? We talk again.
Yeah. I just let him just ramble on, poor thing. He rolling though, man. I think this joint got in 1 month 20,000 views. That's interesting. I think the title is something that's really interesting, but I'm learning. I'm learning, man. I'm checking out things. The future of YouTube, according to the YouTube CEO. What do you think the future of YouTube is going to be? I think YouTube is going to always dominate as the number one platform for content creators. I don't think you got Tumblr. Then you had just a gaming, I can't even remember. TikTok done killed theyself. They got greedy and killed themselves, but they're going to make a comeback, but it's going to be small. Instagram and Facebook, forget about it, man. YouTube going to be number one, always. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Shh. Peace out.